This is a YoustreamRadio special report brought to you by YoustreamRadio.com with Jay Jackson and Diamond K. If y'all didn't have a chance or an opportunity to see the presidential debate last night, I have Diamond K with me. Hey, Diamond, are you with me right now?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. If y'all didn't have a chance to see it on NSBC or CNN or anything, good debate. To me, I would say one up for the Democratic Party with Senator Ryan and Vice President Joe Biden. I think it went excellent. What was your views on it, Diamond?
Definitely one of the more entertaining debates that I've seen. Although the debate that he had with Sarah Palin, I guess it was 4 years ago, was pretty entertaining as well. But this one was very entertaining, and I think that if you were on the fence, this one should have probably made you pick a side, because they have two completely different views on just about everything.
I would definitely say as far that was one of the biggest debates yesterday. They were talking about the ambassador that was killed at some type of security, anything around him. What are you that and stuff like that? How they try to blame the the government that we have now? What are your views on that?
Well, it's they spent a lot of time talking about foreign policy and foreign affairs, and of course that being a hot topic. I think that they played the blame game and passing things back and forth, but ultimately the fact that the Republicans voted to cut defense, security, and things of that nature is true, but they still wanted to place the blame on Obama administration. So, a lot of the blame going back and forth, and ultimately, I think that the people will. I don't know how much that particular incident is going to factor into some of the bigger issues like the economy, like jobs, like Medicare. But they spent a lot of time talking about it. I definitely think that since we've done the show that we did about the Muslim movie, the account that came out, more things have come out, and it wasn't. That attack wasn't because of the movie; it was because of 9/11, and they were attempting to, do something on the anniversary of that. And I think that every 9/11, especially, we have to be on alert about things like that happening.
I totally agree with that. To me, it seemed like some type of patsy. If you think about previous history with ambassadors in foreign countries. The thing is about an ambassador is they roll their sleeves up. They integrate with the people. They find out the problem. And if you looked at previous ambassadors, a lot of them didn't have a lot of security. This is something that didn't play in factor of their jobs because they were supposed to be that mediator with the people. So, having a lot of security like they've been talking about would separate them with the people. So a lot of ambassadors didn't want too much security because it makes them look a little too much out of touch with the people and stuff. So to me, it's funny how they're trying to blame everything with this president that we have right now. And things never done like this. They never really had. This ambassador ambassadors that have been in that country never had security.
Right.
And why now is it a factor since we have this particular president? This doesn't make any sense. Not at all.
Yeah.
It just don't make sense at all.
I agree.
The funny thing about that, just to touch on this, is back in policy. We have one up on it. Everything that this said he was going to do, he did. I mean, you got to think about it. All of our so-called, not all of them, but a lot of our so-called nemesis to a United States from what Noriega to what Saddam Hussein to what Bin Laden. The list keeps going. He didn't went after these people, captured them. All of those three out of four probably is dead. Got executed or and all of the time yet to fix all the mess that we were in previously. And to me, I mean, even a common sense person will understand that how in the world in 4 years can you fix all of the mess that been implemented from the last in office from then? I mean, a lot of people forgetting that.
Right.
And it doesn't. I mean, you factor all of that in. I think that about color. When you looked at it last night, it was about the people. One thing I seen in Biden yesterday is we have a care for the middle class, and a lot of people say, "Oh, poor." Well, what about this? A lot of people say that, but like one point he made, if you grow things, you grow, it automatically nothing get big from the top. You grow it from the middle, and it automatically out, and then everybody eats. And the middle class always of America, and you've seen it in his eyes. You've seen how he talked to the camera, how he directed it to him. To me, that I think was excellent strategy as far as how he directed himself to the people. And if you looked at the Republican side, Senator Ryan couldn't look at that camera. So if he couldn't look at a camera, how could he face you? He always had his head down. He wasn't talking directly to you. And to me, it seemed like he was not passionate or in touch with the people. He was only in touch to one side, which was the Republican side. And Vice President Biden was reaching out to all factors, whether you want to vote for them or not. He was bringing common facts, and you cannot deny that.
Right, that's true. And I don't know if you can do something about it, but your connection's going in and out at sometimes. I thought that Biden was aggressive, assertive, where he needed to be, and I think that his performance last night was exactly what the Democrats needed.
Absolutely. I definitely way and and one thing a lot of people didn't understand is President Obama is one that likes to think before he says stuff. When you're given 2 minutes to go ahead and bring you in, and you're one that like to analyze things and break it down to folk. Because to me, when you listen to the Republican side, they was talking way over common folk head, way over their head. It was like you needed, like Vice President Biden said, we need a translator over here. What is this guy talking about? Nobody knew what he was talking about. And the common folk, 47% that he don't care, understand what he's saying, he's talking way over their head. And to me, to show you that he don't really, if he can't tell you in layman's terms, and break down some of the things that he was saying, and he never answered a straight question. What is he going to do when he steps in office? That's
true. And a lot of the Republicans were saying that Biden was rude and that Ryan had better style. But I mean, the thing is that if you have someone that's calmly telling you a lie, or someone who is aggressively telling you or loudly telling you the truth, which one would you prefer?
Exactly.
I would like to think you prefer the person telling the truth.
That's right. I mean, to me, they're like, hey, look, someone smoothly tell me a lie. I mean, and to me, you can always tell, and they always say it, when someone is so passionate, you can't let someone just get a lie out, or say something that's not true, and you're trying to fix the problem. They wasting like Vice President Biden said last night. You're taking the whole 4 minutes, and you're really not answering the question. It's like you're just giving like these and he was saying that President Obama usually he answered things in speeches, which I think is totally false. That's what he was doing last night. Everything was some type of around the world type of answer, or hey, I had a friend that was in Iraq. Everything was so made up. I mean, I got this old buddy, and he went down and he paid their whole college tuition. It's like these old stories that you can tell that a strategist put together in order to make sense. How he went on and paid all of their bills. One person. You're talking about one person, and you're getting mad about a president that's trying to protect our future for longer later on down the line. And oh man, it's just so crazy about like with the matter. Did you hear about the voucher thing that they're trying to get the people to do, the Republican Party? What are your views on that, if there's any?
On the vouchers?
Yeah, what they was talking about. Basically, they were saying that anybody around in the age of 55 to close to 62 years old, they want to give them an option, right, to basically choose their Medicare and be able to choose their Social Security.
And to shop for their own. Yeah.
Exactly. Shop for their providers. You know how stupid that sounds? I mean, that's a lot of the people is right there. I'm not going to say a lot, but some of them have health conditions or have different problems, and to me it's a catch-22 because they want to put them in that situation so that way they can make the bad and worst decisions so they don't have to cover them. And to me, it's not fixing the problem. It's more so creating a problem so that way you don't have to deal with it.
Creating a whole other problem, right.
Exactly. And then you say, hey, look, you don't want to filter problem 99. I didn't tell you to put that. Now you're denied. Now you have all of these people. You created a whole nother lower income part by just doing that. And like I said, leave it alone. That's not our problem. I mean, the people that paid their dues that America was built off of and it kept us out of certain ways should be taken care of. The people that fought in this country that came back, that can't do the things that they used to, should be taken care of, and they should never be a burden because they already paid their dues.
Right. I agree.
And to me, how are you even going to consider that? And these people that already put in the work, and that's where our money need to be going at. Like you said, we need to, in our foreign policy, we need to trim the fat from this military that we have, all of these people that really is not combat ready, that's pretty much looking for college education that they're not going to get after they fight this war. I mean, you got to think about the GI Bill or things that bait people in to give up their life, these recruiters that bait these people in to give up their lives and everything, and then they go fight for our country. They don't even know that they're going to be in another country and be fighting. And then you come back home, and then you're denied benefits. You're put into this, like the Republicans say, this 47% that he's not thinking about, but he was thinking about you when you're fighting in these other countries for their freedom. What about your own freedom? And
right.
And to me, it's just a bunch of baloney. And I'm glad that
malarkey.
We had it's crazy, man. I mean, just bologna and cheese. It's just like
right.
I'm glad that we had a vice president, because sometimes our president is a little technical as well. Given that, but Vice President Biden was able to break it down in layman's terms. He was able to show how passionate he was. I felt it to the middle class. And he was able to bring some awareness to where we didn't understand some things on what this party is really trying to do,
Right.
And to me, it was a great thing. A lot of how rude he was, but I don't care about all of that. I want the facts.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. But like we said, his opponents are going to want to say this or say that, but I think that this debate really set the tone for the presidential debate. I think it's going to be more aggressive than it was before, on both sides. What do you think about that?
Oh, I say definitely. I think that, and you know, the funny thing about these past couple of years um, of debating, of voting, whole political side, if not anything, that if any of the listeners out here listening, that you got to consider that this president we have in office have you interested, if not any time, in politics. Really paying attention, just like the football games, on what's going on. Who is
Right.
this player? What is he doing now? I mean, who is this guy coming up? Who is our person Secretary of Defense? Who is our foreign policy? You never really paid attention to this stuff because it was like it was speaking to you, and it was never getting across to you. Now we have a president that you're really paying attention to. You want to see this. I mean, think about how many people tuned in to the presidential debate. Millions of viewers tuned in into this, and to me, it's a great thing that's showing you that we're finally waking up, not just in color, but in the middle class, all ethnic groups, is trying to see what is going on and how this is going to benefit us later on down the line. So I love it, man. I mean, I really love this. But you gotta get out there and vote. I mean, you know, there's a bunch of talk unless we do the walk.
Right. Right. And now more than ever, that needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely trying to take things away. You know, we talked off air, and you seem to think that if he's elected, if the Republican candidate is elected, that's just going to be a tragedy.
I'm gonna give you my personal opinion. I mean, we both had different views on it off air, but to me, if this president is elected, and a lot of people don't understand over overseas, was from things that the Republicans had already set up that actually had these people mad and was upset.
Right.
So think about it. If they was already heated with the Republican side. It wasn't heated. The reason why we're able to go in and out of this country right now, it's not because of the Republican side. It's because of the Democratic side. And you know, and us working with China. This is you know, President Obama repaired the alliance with all of these countries that didn't want no dealings with us.
Right.
And we're not really paying attention to that. I mean, if this Republican side get office, this is going to really be that time that everyone is going to turn their back. They don't want to work with us, and they're going to feel as though the American people can't control anything. And right now we're nothing but a bunch of slaves, and we're really in this dictatorship that we're thinking that we're in this some type of democracy, and a lot of the other countries is laughing at us as Americans. They like, look at these guys over here, and they really can't see what's going on in their own government. So I think we're going to have real problems if this particular the Republican side get in office. You said it. I mean, what do you think about it? Because I think you had two different views on that. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think ultimately, politician is a politician. I think that the Democrats are more likable and more sensitive to the middle class and the poor people. I think that the Republicans are geared more towards the higher income people who want these tax breaks and want war. Ultimately, it's difficult for them to come in and institute change anyway, because you have to get the approval of so many different other people to come on board. So it's easier to say what you're going to do, and it's something different to actually get in there and do it. And then when you meet some opposition, it's a lot of red tape that you have to try to get through in order to get something to even happen. So ultimately, the Obama administration has our best interests at heart, more so than the Romney, candidacy. And I'm definitely hoping that, President Obama gets 4 more years. But with that being said, if Romney became president, I don't think that it would be as bad as people think it would be, because the same thing applies to him trying to get some of the stuff instituted that he wants to get instituted. It would be difficult.
Well, one thing, I didn't mean to cut you off, but one thing that you said that was a big factor that stuck to my head off air is the money. Cash rules everything around, right? Green, right? But the thing is, the money is the big factor. And the Republican side, no matter what way you look at it, they got the money.
Right.
And a lot of these things, like, for example, one of the things that came up that touched a lot of people was about the abortions, about being able to control your own body as far as females. They were saying as far as, like, if you were raped or went into a certain situation, that, of course, they'll go ahead and terminate the pregnancy. But if you had a child, you don't have no more decisions on whether you're going to keep that child or not. And to me, she asked a direct question. Vice President Biden told you what he felt as a person, his faith, and then he told you as far as his job, what he would have to do. And what he was saying basically is people have a right, no matter who they are, and that's why this country was built, to make their own decisions. I mean, when you start telling them what they can do with their bodies from that standpoint, I mean, to me, that's like a dictatorship. That's no different than you're saying about the Taliban or the Asians or the Vietnamese or the Russians that was communists. I mean, it's no different. It's like we're going into that same thing. We're calling it different things. And he pretty much was telling you that's what they're going to do. Another factor is, and to me, another factor, and I just wanted to bring this up real briefly, is about the war. He was talking about in 2014, we're out of here. It's no need us still being in this country. Turn it over to their own people and let them deal with it. And then the Republican side was talking, they wanted to straddle the fence and say, hey, we agree what he's saying. We want the troops out of here, but we still want to keep them in there. Like, what do you want to do? I mean, bring them home or keep them there. I mean, so that's that double talk, and here we go again with that. I mean, that's just how I feel about it, Donna,
Yeah, definitely. And as far as the issue of abortion, I think that it's definitely up to a person to decide. When you run into problems is when you try to take your personal beliefs and impose them on somebody else. Ryan went to some story about, his son and his experience with his wife and blah, blah, blah. But what does that have to do with the next person? That's your experience. But what does that have to do with the next person? He says that he believes that it starts at conception, and that's fine. But what does that have to do with John down the street? That's your opinion.
That's an atheist. I mean, what if John down the street, which is, I mean, to me, if y'all going to implement these other laws and say people can have the right to do this and do that, what if John is an atheist or a Buddha or of some other religion or denomination, and he decides he want to do that? That's what America, no matter what way you slice it, was built on. So if you're going to say this woman can't make a decision on whether she want to have a child or not, whether you agree with it or not, that's her right. That's showing you right there that, hey, when we get in office, we're going to take some rights, and that's going to be one of the rights we're going to take away from you. And to me, that's sick right there, man. It just don't make any sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're clearly laying out what it is that they're going to do. And if the people decide not to vote or some people are just voting for that ticket because of the self-hate or just natural hate of President Obama, they're going to be sorry. But the degree, worst case scenario, I think it would be like when Reagan was president. I mean, we survived, but it wasn't the best, but we survived. So.
Yeah, and I agree. We will survive, of course. But the difference between that time frame and towards our benefit than is during the Reagan administration, I think that to an extent that we were still separate as people. I think that some of the, let's say, middle class, as far as whites or blacks or Asians or any of those people, were still separated, and they thought that they were different. I think now, in the generations when those kids grew up, they intermingled, they're in the same school systems, now that they're professionals, and they see that they're challenged with the same exact problems, no matter what color you are. If you have a small-time business or if you're trying to get an education, this is really attacking the middle class, those people that are working, no matter what color you are. So now, I think that if this was tried to do different things, that we will all be more aware of it and can implement different things versus when you just had a black culture that was doing it by themselves, that was not really always informed and basically was just trying to form groups, but just didn't know how to go about it. I think we're in a better place than we were then during the Reagan administration to really implement it. But we got to do something, though. We got to vote. I mean, that's just, you can't just expect President Obama, once he's in office, to do everything. I mean, if you're not voting for anything after he's in office or still standing up, he can't get anything done. He's just our spokesperson. And I think that a lot of people have it twisted when it comes to being president versus a dictator. I mean, you can't have it both ways. If you want a dictator or you want a president, someone to speak for you, but you got to speak first. You know, he can't speak for you. Other than that, he's a dictator. You know.
Good point. Very good point.
That's the way I look at it. You can't have it both ways and everything. But if you just tuned in, this was a special report about the presidential debate with Senator Ryan and Vice President Joe Biden on YoustreamRadio.com. We really appreciate y'all tuning in, bringing us all of the awareness, taking us from thousands to millions of viewers now. I mean, we really appreciate it, all of the awareness and all of the support that we've been getting. Any last words or anything, Dom, that you have to say?
Definitely, we want to make sure that you tune in to the presidential debate on Tuesday, and we'll be covering that as well. I think that the mudslinging is going to continue, and we are less than 25 days away from the election.
Wow! Please, people, go out there to vote. Please. We need it more than ever. If you didn't tune in, you've seen what was going on. One thing about Senator Ryan is he don't have that side to be able to hide stuff yet. You've seen it all over their face on they're going to get over on us. They're going to come at us versus, he don't have that smooth side like Mitt Romney yet. So if you wasn't able to pay attention, we got to vote. We got to get out there to do what we got to do, because if we allow this office to come in, we're going to have a serious problem. So I say go out there to vote. We really appreciate y'all tuning in to YoustreamRadio.com. This was a special report. Thank you. Take care of yourself.